are dangerous consequences to the president's lies. People died on January 6th.
What?
People have...
Yeah, the only person that died on January 6th was Ashley Babbitt, who was murdered.
Well,
that's the only person that died, Karen, let's be straight, on January 6th.
I doubt he's ever read the Constitution. Certainly, he's unaware of the constraints within it. So,
you guys were on an illegally constituted committee. Did you even read your own House rules?
Doug Emhoff, the husband of Vice President Kamala Harris, allegedly assaulted his then-girlfriend during a...
So that's interesting, a little overhead camera. And he's going through actual newspaper articles. Trump's latest criminal charges have been rejected. The Haitians lose another one. You see, the court finds no probable cause for charges against Trump for their comments about the Haitians eating the cats, eating the dogs. A municipal court, we read through this complaint, found no probable cause that was brought forward by the nonprofit group. We read through the entire filing from Sabota Chandra and the nonprofit. It was the Haitians. And they charged Trump with a bunch of stuff. There was a law that allows citizens to file criminal charges. So they charged him with making false claims, with committing telecommunications harassment for saying, eat the cats, violating the prohibition against complicity, all the things. Then they added charges to it and something about causing a panic. And we read through it, kind of laughing our cabooses off. But it was a serious thing, and there theoretically could have been some action on it. But here is what the city has reported for us in their media alert. For immediate release, Clark County Municipal Court finds no probable cause to issue warrants or summons on those misdemeanor charges against Trump and JD Vance. But we're not done yet. There are felony charges that are under review by the prosecutor. In a recent development, the Clark County Municipal Court determined that there was no probable cause to issue warrants or summons against President Trump and Senator Vance. The allegations included disruptions to public services because kids were getting some bomb threats or something, and we learned that those were from foreign countries, like 44 calls or something originated overseas, like all of them. Propagation of false alarms. The kids were under terror because of Trump's words and that terrible, mean, horrific song that was traumatizing everybody. This matter was then referred to Clark County Prosecutor's Office for further investigation. So maybe some prosecutor will take it. Now, the city of Springfield and the city of Springfield Prosecutor's Office emphasize the importance of allowing legal process to proceed without interference and will refrain from commenting regarding ongoing legal matters at this time. Now, it is crucial to foster discussions around sensitive issues, they write, particularly those concerning immigration, with a commitment to truth and integrity. Springfield is dedicated to promoting constructive dialogue and addressing community concerns transparently. And the safety and well-being of all residents, including the Haitian immigrant community, continue to be our highest priority. We take any actions that disrupt public services or spread misinformation seriously and remain committed to maintaining public order. We will keep the community updated as the situation evolves. Strategic Enhanced Engagement Manager. Wow, that's a hell of a title. All right, so you know what I notice in here? There's no comment on eating the cats. Isn't that interesting? So you see that Trump has been charged. He's been prosecuted in numerous different locations. This person, David Urban, was on CNN, and they were talking about people who are actually committing crimes, people who are actually instigating riots and shooting people, and it's not Trump.
We just have radical transparency.
But then why wasn't that proposed 4 years ago after the last election? Why didn't Republicans, hold on, come forward and say, you know what? We are now for radical transparency for elections. We are now for making it as easy as possible for every American to vote rather than making it harder for certain people to vote. Instead, what you've had is former president trashing the system. And by the way, to what the judge said, there are dangerous consequences to the president's lies. People died on January 6th.
What?
People have...
Yeah, the only person that died on January 6th was Ashley Babbitt, who was murdered.
Well,
that's the only person that died, Karen, let's be straight, on January 6th.
But there are police
injuries.
I'm not trying to minimize it. Jim,
well, she just screeched that people died, and that didn't happen. So Ashley Babbitt was killed. Yeah, that's true.
Jim, it's terrible, right?
None of that, David, none of that would have happened if Donald Trump had just been a man and accepted the election results in 2020.
I'm not so sure you can
describe... No, that's it. That's the whole ballgame.
Listen, when you're an adult, do you accept personal responsibility is the key in life? When you were a kid, when your mom said and you did something, you said, well, Billy made me do it, Mom. What would would your mother said to you, Jim? She would have said, I don't care what Billy did. You're responsible for you, Jim. You
Yeah.
know better. Your mom
Yeah.
taught you better. Americans know the personal responsibility. The people that broke into the Capitol.
You should be saying to Donald
You know,
Trump.
the people that broke into the Capitol, they're responsible for that activity, not Donald Trump.
Trying to smear Trump, so it's, I guess, a causation argument. So you can see the J6 stuff is really coming out in overdrive, and here's another example of that. So Zoe Lofgren, remember, she was on the January 6th committee, so they drug her out. They're dragging out Liz Cheney. They got the TDS Spice Girls with Clavicle Girl and others starring in that new season. And now they're saying, are you preparing your passport, Zoe? Are you going to get out of the country if Trump wins?
Congresswoman, I want to start with you because you and the other members of the January 6th Select Committee have been publicly targeted or threatened or warned that Trump is coming for you. I wonder, as the polls appear pretty close,
Yeah, co-conspirators
if you've
in
done
an
anything
illegally
to
constituted
prepare for that, if you've retained counsel
House
or
committee.
updated your passport, or if you're doing anything differently.
No, I haven't. You know,
Hilarious. No.
if you look in the Constitution, there is only one mention of immunity, and that's for members of Congress in their official capacity.
So you can do
they
whatever you
may
want.
not be held to answer at any other place. So assuming
So I can do whatever I want. I'm fine. He can't come at me at all. But you, Nicole, you should update your passport, though.
under a second Trump administration that there would still be a court system and the rule of law, which may not be a valid assumption, there's no way that the members of the January 6th committee could be held to account in any other place for our work on that committee.
So do you take him seriously when he threatens folks like yourself?
Oh, I do take him seriously, but I doubt he's ever read the Constitution. Certainly, he's unaware of the constraints within it. So
You guys were on an illegally constituted committee. Did you even read your own House rules?
you know, I think he means what he says. Whether he could actually accomplish it is something else again.
All right, so they're just hysterical over there. Are you in a bunker? Are you preparing for the Trump takeover? And even C-SPAN is catching it. This caller calls in from California and he says, hey, how about you stop ragging on Trump all the time and talk about Kamala and her domestic violence husband?
First of all, you guys have this topic every morning. The first thing you guys talk about is usually supposed to be the top story. But today it was all about Trump and how bad Trump is. So what I wanted to ask is, are you going to talk about what they're calling the first gentleman, Doug Emhoff, what they exposing him for is he got a nanny pregnant or something like that?
I think you might be referring to the Daily Mail story, and it's gotten coverage as well. This from page 2 of the Washington Times. Second gentleman, Doug Emhoff, the husband of Vice President Kamala Harris, allegedly assaulted his then-girlfriend during a
So that's interesting. A little overhead camera. And he's going through actual newspaper articles.
trip to France over a decade ago. According to, as the Washington Times describes it, a bombshell report in the Daily Mail. The ex-girlfriend, a New Jersey attorney whom the Daily Mail referred to simply Jane, provided travel documents to prove that she and Emhoff spent time together at the location during the alleged incident. One of the sources told the Daily Mail that Jane recounted the alleged violence to her 4 years later when then-Senator Kamala Harris grilled Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh in a Senate confirmation hearing related to sexual assault accusations. The story on the story there in the Washington Times, it was the Daily Mail with the original reporting.
Yep, and I'm glad that they brought that up. Daily Mail confirming that Doug apparently backhands his girlfriends.